All right, everybody, we are here for our founder chat with our first ever second generation founder. So I'm very excited. I'm going to be introducing Angela Ysseldyk, and she is part of Dutchman's Gold Honey. Boop, boop, boop. We got it this time. There she is.
We're in. Love it.
I was like, oh no, she's gone. That is the one thing about Instagram Lives. It's like, when there's tech issues, there's tech issues. You just gotta do it again.
I'm just sitting here doing my thing, and I've got a great internet connection, so I don't know. Anyway,
okay, good.
We're here now. Take two.
You never know. Take two. So I was just reintroducing that Angela is part of Dutchman's Gold, and it's second generation founder, which is very exciting. You grew up in the industry, so in this company as well as the entire industry. So I wanted to do a little brief background on how we met. So we did meet through the supplement side of the world, and you are a holistic nutritionist, correct?
That's right.
Yeah.
You got it. I am.
And Angela worked with my mom, Lorna Vanderhaeghe, and then we also worked together in Lorna Vanderhaeghe Health Solutions, now known as Smart Solutions. Yeah. So we our knowledge of each other goes back quite far, but of course our followers do not know. So I wanted to hand the floor over to you to tell us a little bit about Dutchman's Gold and of course about yourself.
I love it. Well, Caitlyn, it's so fun talking to you every time. I just feel it's like talking to a girlfriend just because we have known each other for so long. But yeah, Dutchman's Gold. So it started in 1981 out of Carlisle, Ontario, off of our front porch. So my dad started it with 300 hives and 0 beekeeping skills. So that really tells you how far you can go if you really put your heart into it and mind and soul and all that. So growing up with entrepreneur parents, you learn a lot. I mean, Caitlyn, you know about this, about hard work, ethic, grit, all of that kind of thing. And then also just their passion for honey and beekeeping and the industry. So you combine all of that. And we were very involved in the business from a very young age. So you learn about, customer care and looking after customers, making the products. Like we went and we sold the products off of our front porch and to farmers markets. So we were heavily involved in all of that. And so that was till basically my whole childhood.
Wow.
And then after that, we just sort of went off and went to university, did my thing. Then I worked for your mom and other companies in the nutraceutical field. And then, working for entrepreneurs and then getting acquired by Jameson, you learn a lot about, change management and leadership and all that kind of thing. And so that's sort of where I ended my career just last year. And then I rejoined the family business that I run now with my husband, Mark. So it's been a really awesome journey. And I'm just so excited to be able to bring some of those skills to this business that really does need that second generation infusion.
So, no, the fact that it has, so I guess 1981, yes. Right, was when the company first, so 43 years.
Yeah.
Like this is amazing.
Right.
And the fact that there is still so much you can accomplish, even after 43 years is of course the entrepreneurial dream. It's everything, right? Like fact that it can make it that long is outstanding. So congratulations to the entire family.
Thank you.
Yeah, because it's huge. It's huge. It's to make it. They always say, the first 2 years of a business, 3 years of a business, most of them fail. So you got to get over that hump, and then the next one, and then there's economic issues and world disasters, and 43 years.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, I mean, I think the things that you can take from it. I mean, my parents, like I said, they ran the business with at the beginning 0 beekeeping skills, but also not a lot of business skills, to be honest. They ran it kind of like a farm and just a lot of hard work and passion and blood, sweat, and tears and all of that. So coming in as second generation with a little more experience, we've had to that's why it feels like a startup to me, because we've had to sort of re-implement or just start systems and create meetings and job titles and do business planning and, basic things. I mean, my dad didn't even believe in marketing. He was like, marketing is like bragging. So it's just a whole other paradigm, right? To kind of shift that. So we've been able to really just do some of that, just do some of the basics of business 101, from where we are now. And so that's been really fun. But you're right. There is a nice kind of, I guess, leadway or runway that they've built, and 43 years of trust and just being kind of here in the community, and also mostly in Ontario. We have a lot of our customers still that are big customers now. That have been with us since the early 80s and 90s. So that's been really special. So we've kind of grown with the industry, but now we get that second generation energy and experience coming in. Not that it's always easy, because it's not. But
no, when you were talking about, now you have SOPs and now you have a marketing plan. it's a different, when you small business and family run business, you normally, everyone's doing everything, tight knit, and you kind of, all hands on deck. But as soon as you start breaking down everyone's roles and figuring out what you need to do, it's a lot. It's a lot to restructure, to focus your energy on a certain area, no matter how big or small or how old the company is. It's a lot.
It is. And you're right. I mean, wearing multiple hats, you know all about that. We're not big enough yet to kind of have all kinds of different actual roles where we're paying people. So a lot of people are doing multiple roles, and just because we're not big enough yet. So, having that flexibility is really, really key to, finding, really good people. And we're so lucky to have an awesome team. But yeah, that's really what it takes is like some of that spirit that really started the business is still there now, right?
And it's a different mentality, and a lot of people love that size company and the fact that you get to wear many hats and you get to try new things and you get to like experience and be part of that growth. And then some people are really more designed to work for other companies where it's very specific jobs and that kind of thing. So like it takes a certain type of employees, takes a certain type of person to do these kind of jobs.
Yeah, it totally does. And you learn the hard way sometimes, but yeah, it's just that's like recruiting is a big piece of really taking the time, right? Just really take the time to get the right people on the team. And if they've got the right attitude, that's huge. I mean, experience is good, but the attitude and adaptability to learn and be flexible is really key for what we need right now. So,
a small team has to work well together.
Yeah,
Totally. It's mandatory.
It's true.
So I know you've been around for 43 years, but I do ask very specific questions to each of the founder chats to see what their answers are. And one of them is how you decide on new products and what that looks like in the, from the farm to the grocery store or the health food store. How do you guys right now look at maybe trends or new products?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. I mean, coming from Jameson and coming from a really well-run engine of a team in terms of innovation, I've been able to take a few key learnings from that. I mean, number one, you really do want to look at insights just from your shipment data, like understand what the categories that we're already shipping in are doing, and then listening to our customers. That's really important. Just from the ground up, in our community, like hearing from our customers, feedback, things like that. That's really huge. And we don't always have, the resources to be buying all that data. So there really does take a gut check as well. And sometimes it's trial and error. You know what though, I got to say, Caitlyn, when we bought the business, there were 200 SKUs.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, while we want to be innovative and grow and all that kind of thing, we're very mindful of that because we're at the same time, we're kind of cutting back some of these like ones and twos and, the ones that we could kind of do outside of our front porch and just make in the kitchen kind of thing, which we don't do anymore, by the way. It's all legit. And so, but it's like this art of knowing where to play and how to win, like knowing what you're really strong at, what are your customers looking to you for, making sure you're really maximizing that and making the most of that. There's products that aren't even in all of our stores. So even just, doubling down on some of these core SKUs is really important because, up until a year ago, we were only in Ontario, really.
Wow.
So we just have national distribution now as about a year and a half now. So it's, just we want to be successful in our innovation and having the right resources is important to be able to really, communicate that out. That said, we did do an innovation this year, which did I give it to you? I don't
know. Which one is it that's new?
It's the hot honey. So this one here.
Oh, yes. Yeah. My husband loves it.
So good on pizza. So this one, the good news about our process is it doesn't take 3 years. It takes about, 6 months to kind of come to market. So the hot honey was something that we were seeing as a huge trend. And, ourselves, we were using it ourselves. So we thought we got to make this. So, through trial and error, we went through just the process of finding the chili source. That could be, not just from the grocery store, but from, that's something that you could scale. And, finding the ingredients and just going back and forth and with the product development until we found, the testing and all that kind of thing, until we found like a nice blend and recipe. And then, it was, I think that was January. And then we had our first product out on the shelf by May.
Yeah.
So that's really big. And then really hyping it up.
Yes.
We're getting better at it, but sometimes we all have the great idea and we think it's great and then we don't tell anyone about it. It's like, oh shoot, we gotta do everything here.
That is 100% when you're like, we have a great product, we have this great idea, and then you're like, oh, I didn't know I didn't do well. Well, no one knows it exists. So no, and it's when you say from your idea to the shelf, in food versus supplements is such a short amount of time.
It is.
That I'm always like,
true.
oh, to get that on a shelf that fast is just amazing. Like, I'm envious. I love it.
Yeah.
I love that you can be that quick and turn it around so fast. Some of the honeys that I did get before, what was it, last week?
Yeah. the
entire office was excited. So they were the one with the cinnamon.
Oh,
this is
so
an amazing idea.
Yeah.
And I realize it's so simple, but like, I'm so excited about this.
Yeah. Oh, it's the best. I mean, we're addicted to it here. Having it on like sourdough bread is the best. I mean, especially this time of year, right? Where you're craving those spices along with the sweetness and all that. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if when you were a kid, but our like treat, we didn't have a lot of treats in the house. My mom made everything from scratch. So, you know, if she didn't bake some cookies or something, there wasn't a lot happening. But having honey and brown sugar on toast, like that is what this reminds me of. Like, yeah, there's cinnamon in it too, but like it's nostalgic. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to put that on my toast. It's going to remind me of when I was a kid, and I'm very excited.
I love it. Well, I mean, similar to you, we had a rule in the house when I was growing up. It was no sugar in the house. So we had honey in everything. It was honey in our cookies, honey in the baking, you name it. And so I was that kid who wanted the Twinkie. I was like, can I trade with you at school?
And everyone else is like, yeah, I'll take that, honey.
I'm so thankful for all of that, right?
Yeah. So, it's true though. And so like, yeah, we only had baking supplies, right? It was a lot of like the sugar that was in the house was to make things with. Yes. So, you know, it's a different, you know, it was that era. And, you know, now we're looking at health a little bit more in a whole form.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're not, you know, as negative on certain things, but even in our house, we try not to keep things in the house that aren't staples. Like we have our staples and then, you know, we have our treats, but they're not the staple in the house. So it's the same kind of thing, but my kids love honey. Like they would rather have a spoonful of honey, like just on a spoon and sit there and watch TV than anything else.
That makes me so happy.
Like they love it.
And you know, I mean, maybe the listeners don't realize, but I mean, I don't know if everyone realizes honey is more than a sweetener. Yes. So the reason why we're so pumped about honey is because honey is a naturally high in antioxidants, anti-inflammatory, antibacterial. There's enzymes and vitamins and minerals in honey. So that's why it makes it such a good sweetener, because it's a sweetener with functionality there. So, and it's lower glycemic than sugar. So lots of reasons that honey is the winner.
And like, as soon as they have a sore throat, we go to the honey. It's number one. Yeah. And now that they're older, they're kind of getting into like, because I drink a lot of tea. And so now they're like, oh, can I just have some tea, but like hot water with honey? And then they love it because it's like a nice sweet thing. We all sit there and drink our tea, and you know, it's getting more into a routine. And it's just so nice to be like, no, it's just honey. I get to give them just honey. There's nothing else in it. I don't have to worry about, you know, some brands do add other sweeteners to their honey, which I don't understand, but it does occur. So look at the label.
Make sure it's 100% Canadian. Because I think what you're meaning is like the adulteration that's going on with honey. Yeah, where they're adding other sugars to the honey to increase the volume and decrease the price. Yes. And it's really too bad. I mean, luckily in Canada, we were right on top in terms of the best, like in terms of the least adulterated. But it's mostly the offshore honey that is suspect, I should say. But not all of it is, just some of it. But yeah.
It's also hard to know. Like if you're not knowing what to look for on that label, you're not going to turn it around and go, oh, actually, this isn't Canadian honey. Oh, this isn't organic, not organic. You know, all the things. It's very hard as just a regular consumer to figure that out.
Totally. And I mean, I know you're a label reader, and I love that about you. And it's like, even the Canadian maple on the front doesn't mean that might be manufactured in Canada, but you still want to turn it around and make sure it's 100% Canadian. It's got to say it on the label. I mean, the CFIA is very strict, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, about what you can label and all that kind of thing. And they are all over it, but you still can't catch all of it.
Yeah.
So.
It's true. And so with supplements, you know, most ingredients, of course, if you're getting the original ingredient, It's not from Canada because it wouldn't be. They're not naturally grown here.
No.
So we only can say we're a Canadian company because that's what we are. Even if we manufacture in Canada, you manufacture in Canada, but the ingredients come from all over the world where they're naturally grown, where they're supposed to be grown.
Yes.
And then, of course, we manufacture here. So it's, you really have to pay attention to that. Whereas other countries, if you bring those ingredients into the country and make it there, they can say it's a product of that country. Which we cannot say here.
No.
So every country has a little bit different rules of what they can say. But Canada is very strict. Like you have to have the ingredients come from Canada, manufactured in Canada to be a product of Canada.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't realize that about the other countries. That's interesting.
Yeah, every country is just a little bit different. They have a little bit different rules. But especially for supplements, it's very interesting what you can then make a product of the US when it's not really, they weren't grown in the States.
Yeah. Well,
so you have to get
Sorry.
I don't know. I was going to let you go.
Oh no, it's similar with bee pollen and propolis. I mean, propolis is not very much available in Canada. So same thing with some of our supplements too. And even just like the bee pollen, for example, really can't get a lot from Canada. We get whatever we can from Canada first always, but yeah, it's just not as mature of a cultivation market in Canada.
That's very
you've got
interesting
countries and make other partnerships for those ingredients.
So I do want to ask questions about the bees. I know you are also part of the Save the Bees project. I've seen you talk a lot about the health of our bees, the future of our bees. And I also want to know on the farm now, because obviously it's a bigger farm, are all your beehives on your farm?
Oh yeah, no. There's no way we could do that. I mean, my dad, like I mentioned, started with 300 hives. At his peak, he had 2,000.
Wow.
And he's been involved in training a lot of beekeepers that are now in Ontario and in Canada. So yeah, I mean, no, the way beekeepers work is they will move the hives to different farms because bees are responsible for pollinating a third of the food that we eat.
Wow.
And so farmers will actually rent bees because better crop yield when there's bees on it. So we want to make sure it's all very much a cycle. With very much an ecosystem for the bees. So yeah, they're all across Ontario and even in Canada, the hives, and we work with beekeeper partners. So that's how we do it. And so we buy the honey from them and then we process basically. So that's how we do it.
That's very interesting. I didn't know people rented beehives for their farms.
Yes.
I'm like very intrigued by this now. So do they... I'm going to ask a question.
Yeah.
Do they move them like seasonally? Like also, would the honey be different based on the crops that they're part of?
100%. Caitlin, you got it. So the color, the taste, the aroma, the texture, maybe not the texture, but the aroma, the color will differ based on the season and the region.
Wow.
So we've just been able to work with various beekeepers over the years, and that's the benefit of time as well, because some of these beekeepers we've been working with since the beginning, and so they yield a certain type of honey. So we have our summer blossom honey, which is more from the early summer blossoms, really, and including clover and things like that. And then the wildflower is like the late summer, and it's a little bit more the asters and the goldenrod and some of the ones that are in Ontario here. And then the buckwheat is very specific to the buckwheat flower. So bees, just so you know, I mean, you might think bees fly everywhere, but no, they like to stick to their hive wherever their queen is. And so they only fly about a 2-kilometer radius from where the hive is. And so that's how you can kind of keep them in one area. Same with our organic honey. It's like it's only placed in organic fields. If we had all organic fields in Ontario, we could have 100% organic honey, but we don't. We can't actually certify all of it as organic. We're a certified organic facility, but it's like where the bees are placed need to be in organic fields that are 2-kilometer radius from each of the hives. So yeah,
I was like, I've learned something new. I never even thought about that until this moment when I was like, oh, I guess that the crop matters. And also I'm thinking of like the wildflower honey that I have next to me I was like, oh, maybe it's just infused with wildflowers. I have no idea, but it sounds amazing and I'm excited about it.
I love it. Yeah, it's like a little bit strong. I love it in tea. It's my favorite one for tea because it's just got a little bit more of a floral flavor to it. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I'm just being educated all over right now. I'm very excited.
Awesome.
All right. So one of them is over the last, it could have been last 20 years, your career, anything, or recently, have you been part of a program or been mentored by either a group or an individual that you found to be valuable to share with the group?
Yeah, I mean, oh wow, that's a really good question actually. I didn't think about that one as much before, but now that I'm thinking of it now, mentorship is so important as both a mentor and a mentee. I mean, I've had opportunities to be mentored. Your mom was one of them, and she was really the one who stands out over all these years because I'm not a public speaker person. Like it's not my strong suit, right? And so she kind of helped encourage me to do that just through her own mentorship and encouragement over the years. But then over the years, it gets easier, and then you're able to help someone with something. So it kind of ends up becoming a circle. So I've had a couple of really awesome mentors over the years, and I've also had the opportunity and an honor to be a mentor as well. But recently, like just from after joining the business, I have found that smaller company, having a community is really important. I mean, reaching out to people like you is huge. Being a part of LinkedIn has been a huge thing as well.
Yes.
There's just a lot of people out there. There's a lot of really great founders out there that you can really connect with. CHFA is also a great time that you can really connect with other peers. I think it's important to have a community and people that have your back. No matter what you do, really, it's, surround yourself with people that are uplifting you and encouraging you, because life is short, and, you don't want to be brought down, and it's hard enough as it is just being human. So you might as well, if you can help lift each other up and be a part of that, then it just makes it better. So, and specifically, I mean, with them, like Women in Food Manufacturing, I've just joined that group. It's been really great. I love what you're doing. I think it's really awesome what you're doing, Caitlyn. I think, you've got that women empowerment thing going on, and I love that. And yeah, I mean, every time I talk to you, I feel awesome. So you're doing something right.
Well, thank you.
With that. Yeah, it's good. So I hope that answers your question.
It totally,
but yeah,
it does. It does, because as soon as you said community, you're right. It doesn't actually matter, mentee, mentor, program here, program there. It's about the people that you associate with, your community.
Yeah.
The ones that will say your name in a room when you're not there, because that's huge, because it happens all the time. If you get a good deal on something, or if you find, like, let's say a trade show or something, or you find a group that's going to help in some way, just letting someone know that it is occurring so that they can save some money, or that they know what's happening. It's the small things. I have a friend who has had a really great order that they got to send out from their warehouse. And I got a text message saying, 3 pallets gone. It's so exciting, especially when you're in a small business and, you see a pallet leave your warehouse. Some people are like, oh, it's a pallet. No, that's huge.
That is huge. Yeah.
That's huge.
It's amazing.
And so, it's nice to have people that also know somewhat of the industry, or, the community, that know how exciting those small wins are. Because if you're not part of it, you don't know.
It's true. I know. And they celebrate with you.
Yeah.
Because
they do.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah. And I know I said this on a different founder chat, but liking things and posting things and following people's stories. It's all marketing, and it's all free marketing, and we're all supporting each other to our goals easily. Like, it's such an easy thing.
It is. It's so easy to do that. And I mean, and you never know the impact that you'll have on someone just by giving them that support. And you don't have to get it back. Yeah. It's like, you just do that because you want to be supportive, and when you're supportive, you will get that support back somehow. It might not be from that person, but you'll get it back.
It's true. Oh yeah, it all comes full circle. I know there's a few people I follow on Instagram, and they follow me back, and every once in a while I'll see like 17 likes, and it's they've gone in and they're like, oh yeah. I'm like, thank you very much. Thank you for helping my algorithm. I appreciate you. And because it's the small things that they all count. And
totally, it does.
Maybe they have a friend who didn't know about my product that now knows about my product, and they have 5 more friends. So it's all the little steps to build your own community. As well.
It's true. It's so true.
Yeah, I love it all. It's my favorite thing for all of us smaller businesses. That's, we have to create that network ourselves. Totally,
we do.
Okay, so I have 2 more questions for you.
Okay.
One of them is, even though, you are now second generation, do you have your eyes on a specific store, specific chain, or sales channel? That was a hard one to say. That you are looking for next, that maybe through saying it out loud here, that we might get some traction?
Oh, well, we definitely want to grow in the West. I mean, like Save on Foods, London Drugs. These are a couple that are on my mind. Safeway.
Yep.
Just, I mean, we are strong in Ontario. We want to continue to grow, but Canada, we want to focus on Canada right now. We have a bit of a foothold in the US, but we're really wanting to just grow where we're planted. In our own country, we've got a great story to tell. And so, yeah, the West is where we want to grow, a little bit in the East as well, but we've got our eyes on the West.
Yeah. I was like, BC needs you. So yes, I'm like, I am obviously a full supporter of this. And also your direct consumer website.
Yes.
Do you ship across the country?
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, we ship across the country, yes, and also to the US. We're also on Amazon, Canada, and the US as well. So
amazing.
Yeah.
I do know that you have a Christmas themed candles.
We do.
I was so excited to see those. I was like, there's Christmas trees. I'm a big fan of Christmas. So
okay. Well,
and you also have the smaller honeys that are like stocking stuffer style.
Right? Yeah, in the honey gift set.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's awesome for giving. And I was just talking to someone yesterday, and I think the whole hostess gift has shifted now to non-alcohol. Yeah. It's changed. So people love the gift set because you can give them something, and they can use it on their charcuterie board. They can put it, try something in their tea. They can, use it in different ways and share the love. Yeah. So it's great.
No, as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, these are easy. They're easy gifts. Like, cause sometimes you give gifts to some people who you're not as close with, but you want to appreciate them in a certain way. So these kind of things are perfect. And you're right. We are moving away from, also you never know what kind of wine or non-alcoholic beverage they like, but everyone loves food.
Yeah.
Everyone loves food.
They do.
So it's an easy one.
It is.
Okay. So we do know that you are working on growing the Canadian market, but in the next 5 years, where do you see Dutchman's Gold Honey?
Oh, I love it. Double the size of the business in the next 5 years. We want to be the #1 beehive wellness brand in Canada. And we want to kind of own Canada and then continue that foothold growth in the US.
I love it.
So that's 5 years.
And you're like, I know this answer because you are prepared.
It's on my wall.
I can tell.
I'm a big word kind of gal, so.
I have it posted on mine as well. It's like, this year is this goal. Next year is this goal. And like, we are hitting it. Like, let's do this. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Caitlyn. And you will make it happen. I know you will.
And you do. You have to write these things down because you need to be clear. You have to put that out there to the universe, and then you work towards it, of course. Like, all three of those things, they all have to happen. And it's very exciting. All right. So our time is coming to an end, but I want to make sure everyone knows how to reach you and the company. So what are your handles, your website, all the fun things?
Okay. So www.dutchmansgold.com. We're on Instagram, obviously, at Dutchman's Gold. You can also find us on LinkedIn and Facebook.
Awesome.
Just search for Dutchman's Gold. Yeah. It's all good.
If you're not already following Angela and Dutchman's Gold, hit them up today. Make sure you do like and follow. And again, liking and following and sharing posts are amazing for small businesses. We appreciate it. We see them all and we're very excited when it happens. And then, if you do end up getting any of Angela's honey, make sure you do a little post. Let's see some stories because, share the love.
Share the love. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Angela. I really appreciate being on my Founder Chat today. And I look forward to following the rest of your journey this year.
Same with you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Caitlyn.
See you guys.
Bye.